you crossed paths with some of the absolute great musicians, and some of the surprises that you found out in the course of living in the Los Angeles area.
Yeah.
So you know, Michael probably has a dozen questions about things that you'd enjoy maybe talking more about, and maybe we can open up some doors to history about this. But
whatever I can remember.
yeah, for example, and this is up to you. If we were talking about Dave Stewart a little bit on our way over, and somehow you and Dave got involved with a lot of the connections of musicians that were in Los Angeles, and I wasn't sure how you ever got with Dave. Was that something where you met him maybe by accident at the Jazzman record shop? Was that an accident thing?
Pretty much. I can't trying to remember exactly, but it was a place of interest to me, and I ran into David through another friend, and so I went to see him there, and then and one day Ferdinand Lamont walked in.
So when you were there by almost accident,
No,
it was
yeah,
and so this was 1940.
yeah,
Yeah, it was 1940.
before the war.
Yeah.
Then I had a business downtown job, but Saturday and Sunday, Saturday I was off, so I'd start going to the Jazzman. See, got to know David very well. Ultimately, we ended up in apartments together, 2 apartments in a building in Hollywood.
So he really didn't have his own home at that time. He had the shop, and he lived in an apartment.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, you got an apartment close by.
Well, we got in the same building.
Oh, but it's at the same time then.
Yeah.
Oh. So, I mean, you were there to collect records, probably more than likely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where was your collection kind of headed at that time? Were you looking at Bix, or were you looking at Armstrong, or everybody?
Everybody, Bix, and found out about Bix very early, and of course Armstrong, and I found out about Jelly Roll and started building up on all that. The New Orleans guys.
So Jelly Roll just was somehow directed by someone out there, old friend of his, maybe Dink Johnson or somebody like that, who directed him to the Jazzman record shop just to show up and be like, I suppose, like they do today when a famous singer shows up in a record store and they sell a bunch of records while he's there and he signs them. I think he was probably expecting to be maybe somewhat of a well-known jazz figure.
Well, I think here's the only record shop in California or anywhere just only had jazz records, and he went out there on Santa Monica Boulevard and found out that Stewart had some of his records. He couldn't believe it, you know. Which I was collecting and buying.
And were you collecting mostly solos by him, or were you picking, like the Red Hot Peppers material?
Those, the bands and everything. Whatever you could come across,
find. Yeah. So it's kind of an amazing coincidence that Jelly decided to show up at Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And unfortunately it was his last visit to any city of any kind of renown.
Yeah.
But he must have liked Dave and yourself. I mean, there was something.
We got along very well. It was terrific.
So did he take you on scouting tours in his Cadillac, or what? How did that work out?
Yeah.
And Dave was he driving? Was Dave driving, or was Morton driving?
They took turns with. I rode in the back seat.
And I assume that you were taking notes.
He was staying in the western part of outside of us, L.A. city
Yeah.
limits. So that can't remember what it's called.
Was it close to Watts?
That was like 100 blocks from downtown.
Yeah, yeah. So you guys got in his car with him, I guess.
Yeah.
But he probably was driving, and Dave was talking to him at the same time, right?
Yeah, and they put me in the back seat. Whew.
And you were taking notes, and tell me about how you're using shorthand and.
Yeah, but not in the car. When we went to lunch, Dave would start interviewing, and God, I was writing down, listening to shorthand, trying to have some bite to eat.
You ended up probably not getting much to eat under those circumstances.
One of my favorite memories of going to that place in Colored District, name of that street, I know it. It was a good kind of restaurant, long, narrow, and we always got a booth in the back, the three of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd gotten a phonograph record of that group and referring to Roll Morton by his real name. So at lunch one day I said, "It's good to meet you, talk to you, Ferdinand." He said, "What? Your name is Ferdinand Lamont." Dave thought I was going to get him mad. He cracked up. Just nobody knew him by that name. It was on that phonograph record. That's his life history. He was from New Orleans. His name was Ferdinand Lamont. And it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, he created his own Jelly Roll Morton name, and it was really an attraction for publicity. But I mean, I think he was very proud of his French ancestry. And
he was not ashamed of it. I thought it would be a step because he wasn't using it, but once in a while would refer to him as Ferdinand, and he'd crack up again.
Well, not many people did, obviously, and I think he was proud of that name.